guys, it's Mitchell or Deity, and today we are going to be making a tier list for PVE in Epic 7 for 2025. So this is going to be the start of the year. These generally don't change a whole lot throughout the year, so no matter when you're watching this, there might be a slight change in character depending on what got buffed. There are buffs consistently in Epic 7, so some characters may have changed a little bit. There will be new characters that come out that we will update this list eventually and make a new video, but this should be good for the first probably half of the year. I doubt much changes in that period, but I'm going to go through, drag each character. We are live streaming. I always live stream when I do this so I can get the opinion of the Epic 7 community as to who's watching me at least. But these tier lists are generally pretty biased based on what I use or what the person uses that is making the tier list. So keep that in mind. That's why I try to have other people put their insight in as well. But I'm going to go ahead and throw Abigail immediately into, she's not really great for PvE. She has a defense break. This is one that you guys maybe already correct me if there's a spot you think she's really decent in. Again, Abyssal Euphine is the same style. She can solo Banshee, which is okay if you want to try to use her for it, but I wouldn't say she's a consistent character. I think Asplan is a god of PvE right now. She speeds up farming. She can be used in so many different places, whether it's your Abyss teams, whether it's your raid teams, whether it's your general farming teams, story team. She can be used in everything. Okay, she's going in, she's probably the best damage dealer for, I would say, PvE right now, taking over Spectrodemia. Einzel Gone, I would say don't bother with him. He can be used for some Abyss floors early on, but it's not worth using him. 50,000 damage versus using Daydream Joker isn't generally worth it. He might have a use for like 1 or 2 floors. Albedo has a defense break, so I'm going to put her in. You could use her if you try hard enough. Same with Alencia. I don't think Alencia is great. She does add defense buff, and she has a defense break, but not too great. A Tywin has a couple of use cases, for me at least, personally. I think he's fine. He has an AoE defense break. He's a tank. He has what you need to, and he has a cleanse. So overall, I would say he maybe could be bumped up to general use. Let me know. I do think he could be used on some of your Abyss teams, or your raid teams. I don't know if he deserves general use for PvE. Ahmed, maybe if you're trying to do some kind of one-shotting thing to give crit damage buff, she could potentially be used. Apoc Ravi, I would say she could be okay in raid. If you want to use her in general story clearing, she's okay. Araminta, I'm going to tell you, don't bother using her. We don't have anything in the game where... Araminta, though, wait. She's actually decent for raid, right? So she would be a single-use character because she could be used in the upper left-hand corner of raid. So I would say there. Now, Arby. Arby might deserve God of PvE or multiple uses. He's general farming, super good damage dealer. He's very good, but I think Spectrodemia outshines him. I think Archdemon can be used for general use now because she has the dual attack in her kit. The seal doesn't really affect PvE that much, but I think Archdemon is pretty good for PvE now because you build her fast. She's innately bulky, so she's going to survive and just be an additional dual attacker. I don't think you can seal like anything in PvE, so that part of her kit doesn't really help at all. This is PvE. I don't think you would do Archdemon for multiple uses in PvE, would you? I think she's just a general use PvE character. Now for PvP, she'd be a top tier, but I don't think she deserves any higher than that. Architect Leica, don't bother trying to use this. I don't see it personally in any way. Arya is pretty nice. She could be used for Wyvern one shot, could be used for general. I think she's more general use. Arya's pretty decent. Yeah, it's PvE. Yeah, if we're doing the PvP tier list second. Arya's okay. What all do you use Arya for? Wyvern one shot? I don't think she deserves like RB tier because RB's, I don't know. RB and Arya are probably pretty similar in terms of getting the damage out, and Arya's not bad. I don't know. It's close in there. Arunka, don't bother trying to use her. Ashman's Eleanor, definitely don't. Ball, I'd say he has single uses. He could be used in a couple of the raid teams if you want to because he has good debuffs, and he could be used for Grass Expo. He's actually one of the best characters. RB is better for not element. That is true. The RB can be used wherever because you don't have to worry about element. I do like that. So this is the easiest to build Banshee one-shot characters. Baiken. Basar, I wouldn't bother trying to use. Bihu, again, can Bihu be used in the upper left boss for raid? I don't think so, not compared to Araminta. I don't think Bihu has any value in PvE. Bellion, if you want to use Bellion, she could be used. All right, she has decent damage. You can kind of farm her, or kind of farm with her if you wanted to, if you build her for like a damage build. So if you try hard enough, she'd probably be decent. Bellona, general use, she has HP scaling damage, one of the only characters that's going to have that within their kit. That is a 5-star at least. So I think Bellona could be used in a lot of different. Bellion good in raid. We'll put her up to single use then. If she's actually good in raid, we'll put her there. The thing is, her passive doesn't do anything really for PvE. I've used her consistently. Okay, if she's good in raid, we'll put her up. Benny Maru, if you want to try to use him, you can. He has general damage. He's okay. Brigida, do not try to use this character. ML Haste, you could use if you wanted to. He's a reviver. He gives you barrier. ML Haste used to be able to solo A13 or A11, whatever he was before he was reworked. So I don't. Bloodmoon Haste maybe can be buffed up one. Blooming Litica, I would not use in PvE. Kana is pretty good in Grass Expo and can be good in a couple of the raid teams. She's not a bad PvE character. You can't tell me she's a bad PvE character. Now, building her just for PvE feels terrible because she has no PvP use. Generally, in Epic 7, guys, any character that is only for PvE is not a high value character for the like general player, because people build characters for PvP. When you build certain characters for PvP, they can also be used in PvE. So that's what makes making these tier lists pretty hard, because I don't want to suggest a character that only has this use case. So Bomb Auto Kana can be used in a lot of PvE, but building her doesn't make a lot of sense. Briarwitch Asaria, would you put her in any? Does she have any specific use cases for PvE? Bomb Auto Kana would be better than Briarwitch Asaria, in my opinion, for PvE. Abyss, you could use. Wait, does she stop reviving Abyss? So it'd be single use case. I'd say Abyss, and single use case for Bomb Auto Kana would be Grass Expo. And you could technically use her in other things, but I don't think it deserves general use. Now, Brieg. Brieg is a character you get for free if you're following my guide series and getting into the game. Brieg is just top tier. You can use him basically everywhere. Brieg is one of the gods of PvE. There are 2 or 3 technically, but Brieg and Tamarin are usually the top 2 characters for PvE in the entire game. Now, Biblis is single use. She could be used for Queen, I believe, in Hellraid. She has some PvE usability. She is about to be on banner at the time I'm making this, and then from there she's going to be on triple banners. Hua Young, if you wanted to use her, I'm sure she could work. The thing is, she actually can be debuffed in certain PvE. She could be debuffed against Queen in Hellraid. So Bystander Hua Young can technically be debuffed. But if you want to use her, she does okay damage. You put her on counter set life on Sacred Size. She's gonna heal herself. She probably survives. She could probably be used in a couple places. How do you build Bree? Because mine doesn't work on Wyvern. Try to aim for more HP. How much HP do you have? Check your HP and let me know. Charlotte, 25k is like the minimum I would say building him. So you can go 0 speed. Okay, so now we have Cecilia. Cecilia's okay. She could be used in lab and she could be used in a couple of the expeditions. Not a terrible character. Yeah, you just give Brig 6-piece free HP set and he should be fine. Next up, we have Celine. Celine's, guys, I played a new account. Celine is banger in PvE. No one's going to change my mind. If you haven't played a new account and utilized her, I used her during the Dash Pass event for a lot of my PvE. She was just a general use case good character. I was shocked. She is very good for PvE when I thought she was a PvP exclusive character. Cerise is a general use character. I think she's good. You can dual attack with her. She adds debuff. She adds slow debuff, which is really good against expos. And she has a dual attack. Why do I see ML? Yeah, I know the ML pack is random, but it has 2 characters. I don't have Harsetti or ML Luna. Those are the only 2 characters in the game I don't have. So if you guys have $100 that you do not need, like say for Christmas, you're like, oh, thanks Uncle Ben for the $14,000 in cash. If one of you guys have that and you're just like, well, I have this money to waste, I am a good target to waste it on, and I will buy that pack. All right, so Servia's, I would say general use. If you're following my new player guide, we do utilize her in a lot of our different teams. We use her in our Golem, Arcades, and you can use her in Dark Expedition. She also be used for Abyss. She's a pretty solid overall character for PvE. Now for PvP, she doesn't have a lot of use case, but it's nice to have what I said earlier with having certain characters built for PvP and then working them down to use them in PvE as well. One of your goals is if you are going to build a PvE exclusive character, you want them to do as many different roles as possible. And Sermia fills a lot of roles, especially for new players, for different types of PvE. And that is why I'm going to put her like higher up, because it's pretty good. So Charles, he's good for trying to set up a Banshee one-shot, I guess. There's so many Banshee one-shots that you can do now. He does give attack buff to your team. I'd say if you want to use him, he can be used most places. He's not a great character. I do not suggest building him, but you could make him work. Charlotte, I'm just going to go and put her down, and you can make her work if you try hard enough. Chloe. Guys, Chloe is going in single use, because if you started the game with Chloe, I still don't think you should, but when you start Epic 7, if you don't get Mui or Alexa, you don't have a Wyvern damage dealer right now. If you tried to make a new account in the last couple months, if you do not get lucky in your original start to your account and you don't get Mui or Alexa, you don't have a Wyvern damage dealer, or you're going to build a garbage Wyvern character like Misty Chain, or you're going to build Clarissa or one of those characters. Not very good. So if you started the game with Chloe, it would be the most consistent, guaranteed way that your account is doing okay. The problem is you don't have a healer for the first 5 days because you're not going to have Tamarin. You could get Angelica after you get account rank 30. But Chloe is actually like up there in what I would suggest people to take from Selective Summon. Like she would be, I would say pick Chloe over Asaria for starting the game now, personally. But because if you ever make an account and you don't get Mui or Alexa, you will understand the beginning of the game without either of them and not being able to make a Wyvern team really sucks. So Shu, I'm going to put in single use. She is an overall solid character. She's HP scaling, so she survives pretty well. She can almost go in general use because you can use her in some of your Expo teams. She's fantastic for Fire Expo. You can use her in your Hell Raid right side team. And then going through story and having a tanky character like this to pair with your Brieg and your Tamarin and your Spectre Tenebria, it is pretty nice. She also gives anti-crit to your team. She can counter and heal herself, and she does pretty good damage. So I think I'm going to put Shu in general use. Just she adds a lot. So if you do have her, she is not a bad character to build. Yeah, and you can use her in a couple of Abyss Floors too. I think Shu's a pretty solid thing. So Charles, I'm just gonna put him in single use. I'm sure there's a spot you could use him. I'm pretty sure there's some one-shot teams you could set up with him, because with his boosting, he's gonna do really good damage once you boost to a certain point. He just probably is fine. I'm not sure. Does any of you guys know of a Closer Charles one-shot for any kind of thing? I think I've seen him for A13. You could set up an A13 one-shot with him, and he does good damage. I mean, he gives attack buff. He has a lot of the good things in his kit that could be used for PvE. So Command Ladder Leica, what do you guys use her in? I feel like she's single use as well. She does have a dual attack. She puts target. She puts AoE sleep, which doesn't really benefit PvE too much. So Command Model Leica, let me know what you guys think of her. I'll just skip. I want to put Commander Pavel in general use because he speeds up farming. He speeds up any kind of general thing you are doing. Sometimes with the side story stuff, like we have Advent. Have we ever used him in Advent? Advent's usually Elemental. I think I've used him in Advent multiple times, but he makes your farming really fast. So you can use Arbiter Vildred plus Commander Pavel, and it makes it to where you clear stages in like 10 seconds. So I like Commander Pavel for general use. I think I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, I like that. All right, so I would say Conqueror Lilius is also almost multi-use. I think Conqueror Lilius would obviously be better than Archdemon. She's gonna give you vigor buffs. She's gonna give you dual attacks. You can use her in raid. You can use her in your regular story clearing stuff. You can use her in. I don't use C Pavel at all. I use C Pavel every time I farm. RB plus C Pavel, it just makes my farming, because if I have 200 leads to burn through, I can burn through them at half the rate almost. It's insane the speed that Commander Pavel plus RB adds to your farming. Probably one of the least PvE units I've seen, to be honest. What do you mean? Do you ever farm? Guys, okay, this is a YouTube video. It'll be kind of long, okay? But guys, do you not, like, look. Here, let's do a quick Spirit Altar run. Okay, this isn't the best Spirit Altar to show, but yeah, so see, this would be like my speed farming team when I want to get in and get stuff done quick. All right, turn all the skills off. See, Pavel's insane for clearing stages? Yeah, so bang. So say I didn't have enough damage there. Sea Pavel's going to clean that up passively. And if you're farming the other stage, say you're farming for other, to get stigma or charms or whatever from your story farming, it's really fast. This is just the worst one because it's water, so Asphyne is going to kill it fast. But he adds, actually, Sea Pavel's not geared, I don't think. That's probably what's going on here. But either way, he adds a ton of speed to whatever you're farming. So I think he actually has quite a bit of value for PvE. Just to be able to get off the game faster, so you go play Raid Shadow Legends. Down the link in the description. Okay, I like him. Okay, that's Dark Corvus has no use case. Death Dealer Ray is going to be Death Dealer Ray is not a PvE character. You cannot Venom in PvE, so I don't think you could use Death Dealer Ray in any capacity. I don't think he'll be good. He's a PvP character only. Desert Jewel Basar, I don't see any value in him. Nothing gives himself barriers really. So I don't think I would bother with him. Designer Lilibet probably could just almost general use this character at this point. She cleanses debuffs. I don't think she's that good. We'll put her in single thing because I'm sure there's some kind of PvE content where cleansing debuffs and constantly getting defense buff is probably going to be good. I just don't know off the top of my head. Her damage is insane. There's definitely somewhere you could use her. I'm going to say that Destina is a general use character for new players because this isn't just about in-game players. It's about the people who are getting into the game. Any character that they get, Destina is a great reviver, full cleanse, CR pusher. One of the only RGB revivers you can get. I think she has the general use there. You could put her in almost anything. It's nice to go Tamarin plus her in some content to have double heal or double cleanse. And you could just use her as a tank. Just put her, instead of Brieg for some stages, put her in the front if you're wanting full survivability. I actually do use her on new accounts. Even though I have Tamarin and everything, I will put her in the team as well whenever I'm getting to certain Abyss stages, because having a reviver like the Leo floor, with the Leo floor, if you do Tamarin, Destina, Raz plus Spectre Tenebria, free clear. You just have to click one button the whole time and you're going to win. So I think she is still super, super good. And Deanne honestly fills that spot too. I think Deanne, for general use, I think she's great. She gives anti-crit, she gives survivability, cleanses, gives barrier. I think she's fine. Dizzy, single user in a couple of Abyss stages. She's really good for clearing a couple of Abyss stages. Dragon Bride Senya, I would not use for PvE. If you really wanted to, you probably could. She's that strong. But personally, I don't see any use for it. Same with Dragon King Sharoon. Dragon King Sharoon does anything. What would you use Dragon King Sharoon? Venom? I don't see it. Okay, I don't see a PvE use case for Dragon King Sharoon. Same with Ida. I don't think she would be really used anywhere. Maybe there's a weird spot, but Edward, I'd say Edward general use. He's still solid for PvE. There's a couple Labyrinth teams he's good in. And if you try to make him work in a couple, yeah, Dizzy's the best 100%. Edward's okay. Elena, I'll put in single use. I know there's a use for Elena in one of the Labyrinth teams because I've done it, but it's not a necessity by any means. Elagos has dual attack and extra damage. You could probably use them if you try hard enough. Is there any specific Elagos case you can think of? Same with Elfelt. Elfelt was good at Rift. I did use Elfelt for Rift, but that Rift is gone. This is really nice for a lot of general PvE as well. The debuff pushback is really nice, yeah. But most people won't have Dizzy, but I'm just gonna say single use. I don't think I should put her general use. Elvira, I don't think has any use in PvE either. I don't think I'd ever bother building her for PvE. Amelia, I would say same general use. Any of these Soul Weavers, pretty solid for if you need a Soul Weaver on your team. These are three of the better ones, and then Momo would probably be the fourth. Imperial Illinev, probably. Does Imperial Illinev have a use case? I've never considered using her in PvE. I know you could just throw her on. She's going to give survivability and a cleanse to your team. But I have no idea if Imperial Illinev would have any value, because is there any boss that pens that doesn't one-shot you? Usually when something penetrates, it says penetrate, it's doing 999,000 damage. So you're still not going to live if you penetrate or like save the penetration on that. Or Valen, if you really want to use them, you could Banshee one-shot. Eternal Wonder Ludwig, I would not use for PvE in any capacity. Fairy Tale Tenebria actually has some Hall of Trials use cases. Okay, some of these, I haven't said Hall of Trials, but some of the idea of this is Hall of Trials. Stop saying penetrate. Why? Abyss 105, the first boss has 100% pen, so you could cheese the first boss with her. So that's like single use for certain abyss stages. I'll put her up here. I mean, she's a tank. You could use her for PvE if you really want to. Flitica, don't try to use Flitica for PvE. Fallen Cecilia, she's a general tank. You could probably make it work. F10 can be used to clear Wyvern 13 wave for one shot, but it's really cope. That's can use if you try hard enough. That sounds like that sounds like the tier for her. Fenris, single use case. He's good for the bottom right boss for raid. And other than that, I think that's about it. I think he's just single use. He's probably could be, if you force him, you use him somewhere else. Yeah, maybe Banshee. I guess he would get additional hit in Banshee. Is he good for Ice Expo? Fenris is good for Ice Expo? Yeah, double. Yeah, it would be okay for Ice. Kind of okay for Ice Expo. To be honest, you can use Alencia and Banshee. I mean, you use anything at Banshee. So, do you think Alencia deserves single use? I'll move her up. She's better than most of these other characters. Because that's the thing. Like, Abyssal Euphine, you can use her in most everything. I mean, you could use Abyssal Euphine. She can solo Banshee 13. Like my Abyssal Euphine right when she came out. The funny thing is every single time a new character comes out, I look at their kit and I'm like, wait, this character could probably solo Banshee 13. And I swear it's like half the characters in the game. If you tried hard enough, they could solo Banshee. Schneel solos Banshee. Euphine solos Banshee. Euphine is part of the easiest auto nightmare Arcanum team. Alright, so do you think she deserves general use then? She doesn't do enough damage to be a farmer. And she doesn't do that much damage in general until she transforms, and you only get 2 hits out of transform. I think she's single use. I think single use for sure. Festive Ida, I don't think you should use her for PvE. So even new Elagos, where's new Elagos gonna be used in PvE? This is a PvE tier list. Any of you join in this? We're doing PvE first, and we're gonna do PvP. Okay, Elagos seems okay. Flan, guys, it's not worth using Flan. Right, you can set up one shots with her, but she's one of the hardest S1, or sorry, she's one of the hardest setups. Team works with Elbrus, RTA, Euphine. Yeah, I've used her in Labyrinth, but could I have used anything else? Probably. I don't know. S1 dual attack. Are you setting up a one shot with Elagos then? Like, what's the point of Elagos? I used Flan once in Abyss. I mean, she can be used if you try hard enough. Can't believe this guy's Gaslight Duty bump Alencia in PvE tier. I mean, Alencia is not bad. She has everything you need, right? It's just she's a PvP design character. She's an injury style character. You don't injure in PvE, but she does give defense buff. She does give CR push. She gets a dual attack S1. Or not dual attack, but a dual S1 that defense ranks. It's not the worst. Frida could probably be used in a couple things. Would you though? No, because you're autoing PvE. You would not use Frida, right? Because you're autoing. It's not going to give you any value. Until they add the ability to set your characters to soul burn. Like, so Raid Shadow Legends, hear me out, has the ability to where you can go in and set all your skill priorities. So whatever you go, for each wave of certain thing you're doing. If they added Raid Shadow Legends PvE little thing to where you can go in and like say, I want to soul burn, like soul burn if available on this skill first, that would be the greatest thing ever. It would make so many of these characters better. Hashtag add, but I've always wanted skill priority settings. Go play Raid, and it is so nice in Raid. All right, I'm addicted to Raid. All right, it is what it is. All right, Fumir, we're not doing. Could you even use her for PvE? I don't think Fumir has any value for PvE, does she? Sleeping in PvE. 2-turn defense break, though. If you really wanted to, defense break is good. Harsetti. How's Harsetti? I don't have her. You guys have to guide me on this one. Where would you use Harsetti? Hold on. Let me rearrange a couple things real quick. Where would you use Harsetti, though? I guess the chat's fine, isn't it? Any of you guys? I don't feel like she'd be bad. AI boss, floor boss. That's Harsetti's use case. Green Expo single probably. All right, I think she can work there. Haste, I'm gonna put in single use case because anything that is grass, he's actually really good into, and he was like top tier for the one rift. So technically, he's not a bad character, but he doesn't deserve general use. If you are a new player and you want to use haste, You probably can. I mean, he would work. He heals your team for story. He AoE defense breaks. I don't know. Haste is honestly a general use character. It's just we don't use him because we have other things built. What element? Rifts should be next. Water. Grass. Water. It's water. Hellion Lua, I would not use for PvE in any capacity. There's nothing. Well, it does. Her passive doesn't work on PvE, so it's only on characters. She gets the extra 10%. So, Holiday Fiend potentially single use. What do you think about Abyssal Fiend? Hua Young, I'm gonna put in single use as well. Illanav gets crit damage buff. That's kind of a rare buff to give. I'm gonna put her here because some people use her in one-shot teams to get the crit damage buff. AOE. They build like a speed Illanav. I have seen it. So I'm gonna put her there because I've at least seen it. Wukong is pretty solid for PvE. All right, for you pretty much use them anywhere that isn't weak to water, or sorry, it isn't weak to any fire. You just don't use him into fire, and he's probably gonna be pretty solid. And he's good for Vera. Okay, I like this so far. So Asaria, does Asaria deserve God of PvE? How many of you have used Asaria in the last? Even as a new player, every new account I make, I try to use Asaria, and then I'm like, why would I use Asaria when I am now using Brieg? It doesn't add like any value. I think now that Brieg exists and everyone gets him, Asaria is not that good. Like, you can't use both. Now, but everyone has Brieg, right? So it makes it to where Asaria just goes down a tier. Because you don't want to use Brieg, Tamarin, Asaria. You want to use Brieg, Tamarin, 2 damage dealer generally. So, or Brieg, Tamarin, Destina, so you have a Reviver and single damage dealer. Asaria got me to where I am right now, but would I suggest anybody using Asaria? Where'd my mouse go? My mouse died! Hold on. Gotta plug the mouse in. I got a wireless mouse. It gave me a warning that it was low on battery, and I figured that would be like, I'd have plenty of time to fix it. Nightmare Queen? I mean, yeah, she could be used on Nightmare Queen, but that's the only use case. So does she deserve God? She used to always deserve God of PvE. Now, if I don't put her in God of PvE, people are going to shit themselves when they watch this list. So would you still put her here? She has her uses, but she's not as good anymore. I honestly feel like she goes here. This is going to be so controversial. I feel like she goes here because you don't want to use Asaria and Brieg together. It doesn't have much value. You lose half the value of Asaria by using Brieg. I think she's good for a new account regardless. Doesn't need to be fully molded. I think she's multiple uses now. She's actually going to get bumped down. She isn't going to be one of the gods of the game. All right, so Jacko probably could use her if you want to. Janua's not great for PvE. I'll put him in single use. Maybe there's a spot where Janua's okay, but Janua is a pure PvP character. Judge Kisei, I am just gonna put her at the bottom. I don't know what you guys are using her in. Maybe there's something. Is there something for Judge Kisei? She gets a guaranteed extra turn. Deity gonna get insane YouTube algorithm? Yeah, that's the idea. That's why I put 2025 official PV tier list. The thing is, this right here removes all credibility for anyone who doesn't know that I meme everything I do. If someone clicks on this and sees official and not official, they're gonna be like, "What am I looking at?" So I'm already hurting myself by leaving this in, but it's too late to go back. Judge Kisei should be second lowest. I feel like she defense breaks. I could see it. Kane could make him work if you try hard enough. He used to be really like top tier because of Fire Expo. Calvaric, I don't think Calvaric's worth using. Kayron, do any of you Kayron Automaton Tower? That's like the Kayron spot, right? Oh yeah, he is good in Earth Expo too. Kayron could be bumped up. I honestly think Janua goes down here. He does super good damage, but compared to every other character, he is not very useful. Now, Ken. I think Ken's a general use character. You use him one-shot teams, you use him basically everything. Having the dual attack, defense break, ignores effect res. Ken's really good. I like that a lot. Kisei, Probably can make work if you try hard enough. Crow, single use, wyvern front tank. Never a bad character. And Laya, does Laya deserve general use or single use? So Laya's a cleanser, dual attack, and at least hits for 10k. I don't think she's great by any means. She almost deserves this. I'm never going to take Laya in a spot where I get to take Conch Lilius. But I feel like she almost deserves this tier. General use, yeah, I think general use of ADS is there. Because ADS I'm going to put down further, so she's not like way up there. Landy can be general use. LR Crow, single use. You can use him to auto nightmare. Elraid, he's really good. Plus, he's really good for PvP. Lethe is not a PvE character. I'm not gonna put her in PvE. Like, where do you use Lethe in PvE? Somebody tell me. Firelytica, single, like, you can use her if you try hard enough. She can, like, kind of solo golem because she always pushes them back. So there's some meme comps you can do with her with a pushback. And she is actually used in some Abyss floors. I think she deserves single use. Abyss 115, exactly. General use Lilius can go in there too. Lilibet's going down to bottom. Lionheart Sirmia. Lionheart Sirmia technically has multiple uses for PvE, but she's not great at them. What do you guys think for Lionheart? I don't know if she deserves single use. But Katie's, she's actually pretty good for Katie's on top of the other things. Yeah, single use C13. Yeah, I agree. I said it right as you were thinking it. LQC, I don't know about that. Now, Lone Crescent Bologna, dude. Lone Crescent Bologna is going up high. If you get Lone Crescent Bologna on a new account and get Sigurd Scythe on her, Abyss is a joke. And so is most, like, all, you can use her everywhere. She's one of the best characters for PvE. And you can use her as an in-game player for some of your Abyss teams. Like, she's so good. I actually used her in my Fire Expo and was getting over 1 million damage. Not the best option though. Okay. Well, this is the best option right here, Lone Crescent Bologna. Lua, definitely not a PvE character. And then we have Ludwig. Ludwig, doesn't he have a use case for PvE? Lua single use? What's Lua? Nightmare Carcanus? Why would you use Lua? I use Ran. I don't use Lua for Carcanus. Carcanus is fire, right? I mean, technically Lua could be okay there. Yeah, the strip plus reset is nice because it keeps them from going into whatever. And it gets speed buff. That is true. Lua's speed buff is pretty nice. Lulika, do you guys think she deserves general use? I don't think so. I mean, she's an AoE defense breaker, but I don't see a lot of spots you would use her. I did use her for a couple of Abyss floors. Same with Luna. I don't think Luna's great. So general use, single uses maybe should be worded different. We'll reinvestigate that at the end. Maid Chloe, I think I used her. She's high morale for certain Abyss teams. ML Ken, does he have any PvE use? Meteor Coward, definitely general use. Melissa, some people probably use her in Golem or something. AI is like the most single use thing ever. Midnight Galileusis. I still think Midnight Galileusis is so good just because you can use her in multiple expos. What do you guys think? She is kind of an expedition demon. Also, she's really good for Abyss stages, certain Abyss stages. I really like Gala. Everybody always questions the Gala placement on these tier lists. I always put her really high. Gala's general, okay. Milim, single uses. Mort, guys, does Mort have any PvE use? Nightmare Raid, yeah. Gala is really good. But every time I think I maybe put her up here before and people got really mad at me. They're like, where do you use Galileusis at? And I was like, I use her everywhere. I use Mort in my Banshee team. I think Mort can be single use. Mui is definitely not getting used. Knockwall, I'm not going to put her in there. Landy's definitely general use, super good. New Moon Luna, not for PvE. Ocean Breeze, it's just... Ocean Breeze can be single use. She's good in a couple raid teams. Good cleanse. Operator Cigarettes, no. Pavel, more S3 pen, actually good damage in PvE, but what are you using it in? Like, yes, it's okay damage, but like, does Mort's passive stop any kind of counter? Pavel is one shot basically, so Pavel can use if you try hard enough. Mort S3 pen plus barrier plus Elbrus plus defense breaks. Does he deserve general use? If you guys think he deserves general use, I'll put him there. Peyra, I don't. I mean, Peyra, you can make work. I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to listen. Okay, so Pirate Captain Flan, I don't see using her anywhere. Politus, single use. I got champion. Okay, this is PVE, brother. PVE. PVE tier list. Rem, single use. She can be really good. Yeah, PVE day 1. Okay. I'll put him there just for you. Rand, single use. Rand's only use is going to be your right side Carcanus team. Ravi can be general use. She's solid for multiple things. Ray can use if you try hard enough. Now that Rift is going away, I do not suggest building a Ray. Rem, single use. She can one-shot Wyvern and has a couple other spots that if you want her to be good, she can be. Remnant Violet. What do you think of him? Man, there are a lot of characters in this game now. What do you think of Remnant Violet? Ray is great for Nightmare Juleeve, but can't you just not build him and use all your other healers that you would have built up to that point? Rylet, you can make him work if you try hard enough. Let's just put him there. He does insane damage, and he has some survivability. Wrecker and Rwana we're not bothering with for PvE. Rimru's gonna always be okay stealing buffs. I think he can go there. Riza, you can make her work if you try really hard. Rowana, almost generally. Rowana could be general use. You can use her in a ton of PvE. Roy, you can make him work. Ruel, I mean, compared to the other PvE characters, she ain't it. DJB goes down here. Schneel, single use. He can solo Banshee. Sea Phantom Politus definitely goes general use. Sea Phantom Politus goes up with this. Sea Phantom Politus super good. I think someone used the buff steal thing for you Fiend Lab. Yeah. Rimmer can be paired with that. There's a couple buff stealing things that Rimmer's really nice for. Rylet's great in AI and not much use outside. Yeah. I don't really know where you use Rylet. Maybe in like a Light Expo or something, you could get some damage. Seaside Bologna could probably still be general use, even though I don't suggest building her. Senya, does Senya have any PvE usage? I feel like she doesn't. Maybe she does. Says you can make him work if you try hard enough now. Shaltir. I don't want to do Shaltir either. Sharoon, definitely no PvE use. Shuna, let's just not bother with her. Sigrid, single use. She's one of the top single use characters. Sigrid's, I can't put her any higher than that because she specializes in certain areas. So maybe instead of single use, let's put specializes in certain areas. That's better because single use doesn't actually mean you're only going to use it once. So we need a better wording there. SSB is pretty good though. SSB is not better than ML Landy. ML Landy is going to do infinite more than SSB. And so are any like Lone Crest and Bologna. These two can't be in the same tier. Lone Crest and Bologna is a god compared to Seaside Bologna. Seaside Bologna is not the character she used to be. Building her for Wyvern, a non-Wyvern one-shot is terrible compared to using the 3-star Mui. You can't put her that high. Silverblade Araminta, she can be used single use for the right side upper boss. Soul, I'm not going to put him in anything except for there. Solitaria, I'm not going to put high. Let me know if you disagree. Spez, I'm going to say don't bother for PV. Spectene is definitely going up here in this tier. Which boss for Araminta? Top right or top left? Soul up by 1. Do we have to? Easiest, yeah, that is true. He is the easiest golem 13 one shot. This is a reviver you could probably utilize if you want. Strays. This is where I'm curious what you guys think. How is Strays? I never set up any one-shot teams with Strays. I did at one point. He's hunt only. So like I think he specializes. Let me put ETC here. ETC. There we go. I still use strays for one shot every hunt boss with Watcher Shirt. Yeah, I know he's good for that, but that's the... I don't know if he deserves general. Because you're not using him outside one shot teams. That's his really only... Used him for lab, did you? I'm going to put him there. I don't like putting strays too high because it makes players that aren't ready to try to utilize him more. So that's like a strategy, is put strays a little bit lower so people don't think I should do this right now. Because most people that pull strays early on their account brick their account and quit playing the game because they realize too late that they don't have what it takes to make what they want to work. Summer break Charlotte probably specialized or is decent. Now summertime Asaria, I'm gonna put down at the bottom. We're doing all the 5 stars. Sylvan, I'm sure you can make her work. Sylvan's actually specializes in Hall of Trials. Sylvan's really good in Hall of Trials a lot of the time. Teiyu probably could make him work. Tamarin, this is the other one of the other gods of PvE. Okay, these 3 are, in my opinion, the top PvE characters. You have the top tank, you have the top healer, and you have your top damage dealer. That is my PvE take. I think those are by far the best. Now Tenebria, she's pretty solid. She can go there. Top model Luica probably could make work. Twisted Eidolon Kairon. Honestly, Twisted Eidolon Kairon could probably go pretty hard on some stuff now. What do you guys think of Twisted Eidolon Kairon? 15k damage, a super safe team. Rowana, Twisted Eidolon Kairon plus another tank or something. Probably can cook over time. But, I don't know. Use Industrial Torrent Kairon. He's very strong for PvE, though. But you need setup, yeah. You're cooking too hard, Chief. I'm seeing smoke. Twisted Eidolon Kairon's really good for PvP. I will say he's better than everyone thinks he is. No one ever plays him right. I don't have damage Kairon, though. I'm full bulk, 300 plus effect res. Okay, Tywin. I mean, specialize in certain areas, sure. Urban Shadow Shoe, do not try to use in PvE. It sucks. Vildred, not bad for clearing. Banshee, Violet can be okay. Maybe Vivian, same. They're all Banshee style characters. Young Senya, where do you think Young Senya deserves? You think she deserves general use? I mean, she cleanses, she heals, she procs extra damage. I think she's really good. Yuffie, specialization character. She's really good in certain spots. Yulha, I mean, can make her work. She's a tank. You can actually pair Yulha with Young Senya or something. Yuna, I wouldn't try, but you could probably make work. Zahak, again. Zahak isn't terrible. Hold on, he gives cleanse, he gives attack buff. Isn't there a spot where you use Zahak? She's a Lilius tier, basically healer Lilius. I could see that. I'll bump her up. I think she could be really good. But you have to build a team specializing. So yeah, Zahak and Raid. I know there's a specialized area for him. Zeno, do not try to use. He's free and garbage. Zio, not good for PvE in any way. AE Giselle, probably can make her work if you want. Karina, not a PvE character. What do you think of Karina? Does she deserve... Can make her work if you try hard enough? Zeno equals God. I don't know about that, buddy. People try to use Karina for Wyvern tank. All right, if you try hard enough, you can make it work. She's got a semi team, or like, she has defense break. All right, that's the whole idea. She has a defense break. Most characters have a defense break. At least get that tier. Ning Ning probably could make her work. AE Winter PvP only. Acades. All right, so now we're to the 4 stars. I don't think I'll drag all the 3 stars. I think, okay, so here. We turn on face cam again. Where is my face? I'm leaning way back. Okay, so guys, for the rest of the tier list, I'm going to drag all the 4-star characters that are usable in PvE. If I do not drag them over, that means they are at the bottom tier. Okay, instead of dragging all this just for time saving, we're just going to drag these over. So Acades, I'm going to probably general use her. She could be used in almost everything. And she's one of the top Holo Trials characters in the game. You basically every week want to have her. Okay, Angel of Light and Angelica, specialized character for fighting Hellraid Queen. Angelica is a okay specialized Wyvern front tank, Wyvern 13 front tank, but nowhere near as good as the other healers. And then going from there, Oxlot's got nerfed. We're not going to be using him anymore for pretty much anything, I don't think. Benevolent Roman, I wouldn't say use for PvE. BBK, I would say goes in multiple uses. She's fantastic. She's one of the 4-star that goes up higher. General use Crimson Arbin for PvE. I think she's more specialized. You can use her in certain abyss floors, but you don't want to bring Crimson Arbin in everything. So we'll put her there. Blingo is actually really good for a healer for your Labyrinth teams, for a high morale team especially. He's using a lot of the highest morale teams, or higher morale teams, not the highest, but he's pretty solid for that. I use him with what's the character? Apoc Ravi. It's a really high morale team. Broman has defense break, and so does Oxlots, but I don't think I would utilize either of these. What do you guys think about Oxlots? And Oxlots may be specialized at this point. General Purgus, specialized. He can be useful in certain things. Sid can be used for Dark Expo. Alots, maybe. Broman, no. Yeah, Broman, probably not. Champion Zerato, we'll put him in specializes, and I would never try to use him personally. James Zerato, well, but he has high morale too. He's not terrible. Okay, from here though, that's the couple ML4s. Clarissa may be specialized on Wyvern one-shot teams. Furious can be used in a couple Banshee one-shot and that. Both those are okay characters. Free Spirit Tieria, general use. New players, I'm putting her here. She's your speed farmer as a new player. She's pretty solid for that. And then past that, you can use her just as a new player in a couple things. She is going to be the bottom of this tier, but if you are someone who doesn't have a lot of characters, she is very nice. Yeah, Champ Z was the Ed before Ed. That's why Champ Z's down here and Ed's up higher. Okay, so Inferno Kawazu, no. Infinite Horizon and Katie's probably could utilize her. Mercedes is general use. Fire Mercedes, yeah. If you're saying Fire Mercedes, I don't see Fire Mercedes yet. Are you saying Celestial Mercedes general use? Hell no. We're not doing that. We're not baiting anyone into using this character. That is a waste. Fire Mercedes, though, yes. Fire Mercedes general use. I agree. Kitty Clarissa general use. Kitty Clarissa you can use in way more than, if you sit down and think about Kitty Clarissa, you can use her in a ton of spots. And you just never think to, because she's a character that kind of stopped being used when you finish Abyss. You just don't think about her. Lots specialized. You can use them in Grass Expo. Moon Bunny, I don't think is good. Does Moon Bunny have any use in PvE? Leo specializes in one-shotting Banshee. Team setup. Corinne, I don't even want to bring Corinne over. I'm going to put her in Can Make It Work if you try hard enough. Not that you're aware of. Okay, and then from there, Sinful Angelica definitely gets at least some kind of tier. Watcher Shuri specializes in one-shotting. He can go up there too. Any of these other characters, I would not suggest trying to use Rose. Obviously, any Wyvern front tank could be used. So like Crozet, Rose, all of these characters are fine, but I'm not going to bother putting them on the list. And then Raz, general use. Raz can be general use. He's a good 3-star character. Are there any other good 3-star characters? I mean, Aiden will do the specialty changes of Aiden. Rose is good for Fire Expo. Okay, I'm just going to put all the front tanks then, if we're going to put one. Because Crozet's the highest win percentage Wyvern character for lower tier gear. He is by far, you cannot compare, because you can't die in wave 1. So he has infinite value because of that. He is the highest percentage win rate Wyvern character if you put the lowest gear. Camilla will go into general use. But she's a 3-star. Alright, none of these other characters, right? None of these other characters we would use for anything. Shuri can be good in expos. That's such a stretch, man. Okay, he's going and can be used if you try hard enough. He can be used, but why would you? Like, realistically. Gaither's surprisingly solid. Yeah, is Gaither on here? Sorry. Gaither, we're putting specialized use because she or he can be used in a lot of your Holo Trials teams. And there's a couple other places he's okay in. And other than that, though, I think that's about it. I mean, technically, Crozet you could use on some stuff if you wanted to, but you generally don't need tanks. Hey, relax, buddy. I didn't mean it. It was a slip. All right, so Montmorency can be put into general use. She's pretty good. Carmen Rose, but we're gonna do Zealot Carmen Rose. Camilla general use. We use her in every expo team and a bunch of other things. Bernard specialized for Rift and Banshee maybe. He's not. He's usable. We'll give him something as usable. Alexa can be used for Wyvern. I guess. Yeah, Alexa for Wyvern. Any of these other characters so far? Commander Lorena general use. You use her all over the place. I don't know if she deserves general use. Does Alexa deserve general? She's a single target character. Most of these characters are not single target, or if they are, I'd say she deserves it. Multiple expos, multiple abyss. I really want to slay him. Should I slay it? Last imprint, need for 100 crit. No, you should not. You'll get an Alugos imprint. Lorena fell off. She's still so nice for new players. She fell off for in-game players, but for new players, she's still so good. Okay, so other than that, Kira's specialized character. She's really good for that. Luca specialized. And then other than this, Montmorency, Mascot Hazel specialized. A couple teams you use with her. Researcher Carrot specialized, top right. Labyrinth team, she could be good there. And then Aiden technically just can be kind of okay. I don't know if she deserves general use though. I don't really want to drag all the Aidens. Vern Aiden, I'll drag that, but all the other Aidens will just leave. Terranar Guard's okay for the one content. I would say Terranar Guard is, or for your Fire Expo, can be used in Wyvern, can be used in a couple of the Abyss stages, especially the Challenge Abyss floors. Terranar Guard's kind of a key for any Abyss above 110, I believe it is. And yeah. So your Gunther can crit. That's genius. Zealot Carmen Rose can also go in here. One of the best characters for Light Expedition. Other than that, though, I think that's it. You guys see any other thing you would drag over? If you like this Raz, we're not dragging Raz because we especially changed Raz. Any of the characters we did the special change. Mui, definitely top Wyvern character. Alexa, I already dragged Alexa. Right here. Alexa SC. Oh, I guess, where's Alexa SC? We'll switch. All right, so we'll switch that over and put Alexa down here. And then Christy, I wouldn't say use for PVE at all. Oh, Christy, single use case for your infinite farming Labyrinth team. Good call. Okay. Other than that, I think that's it. I actually put Airwell SC for fun. Why are we using her in? All right, she's a PvP character. That one hunt? I don't think so. Revna. Oh, wait, Revna. Revna is a character. She is an Abyss maniac. Really good for Abyss. She's a newer character, so did not think about her. But Falconer Clary, maybe. Would you use Falconer Clary in anything anymore? I don't think I would. She can technically solo Banshee 13. SC Phyllis for PvE? She's a PvP character. Like, where are you bringing these tanks in PvE? You have Brig, okay? And everyone has Brig. Where would you bring these tanks when you have Brig? You're not bringing Brig plus another tank, right? You have Brig. Everyone has Brig. Your counterattack bosses, so you're gonna be bring Brig plus Phyllis. Like you're gonna bring Brig plus Rowana. You're not gonna bring Brig plus Phyllis. I don't think Phyllis deserves it. Everyone's gonna have Mercenary Helga. Okay, Mercenary Helga. Let's have specialized in certain areas. Most of the specialty changes that aren't PvP focused, obviously, go over there. But Shadow Knight Phyllis and PvE. I don't see it, man. I don't want to suggest it. I don't have it in me. If you do it, you are one out of 100,000 players that does it, which does not help. What about Ice Muscle Girl? No, Ice Muscle Girl fell off. You guys, Ice Muscle Girl fell off because we have Free Spirit Tier. You would never use Ice Muscle Girl when you have an element neutral farmer that resets her skills. Like Ice Muscle Girl was a character that could work in the past, but some of these characters that you get for free now make these other characters, you would never touch them. Doris is pretty good for PvE. These are all Guild War characters. Like Doris is a Guild War character, specialized in certain areas. Because you're gonna get Tam for free. Where are you gonna use Doris in PvE that you're not gonna use Tam? You're not gonna bring Tam plus Doris. Doris have use for an NM Spider. Okay. All right, if you say so. I'll believe you. All right, anything else though that you see? I use Arrowell and Challenge. I guess there are some things where you can only use 3-star characters. So Brieg is off the table. Okay, if Brieg's off the table because in Challenge Mode Abyss, you have to use 3 stars. Then I'll give it to you. Suthen also, what's Suthen used for? I think you guys are trolling me at this point. Try use Tam instead of Doris and Hall of Trials this week? I think I did. Ricorous and Katie's? Nope, we're not going that far, buddy. Ricorous and Katie's? He's better than Carrot for Spider? Ricorous? Or Suthen? Oh, Suthen for Spider? I mean, yeah, I do remember seeing a video of someone using him. He can go in here. I think most of these characters deserve can use if you try hard enough tier that you guys are suggesting. Not Azzy. So the areas that these characters specialize in is the challenge mode Abyss, all right, where you can't bring 5 stars. Other than that, I think the list is done, right? You guys, what do you guys think of the list? I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and we're gonna add some names. So how do you add names? Settings, let's show name and show grade. Show role and attribute, sure, it doesn't add, it kind of does add extra space. Compact tier name, no. Oh, that's good. That's kind of a big tier list. Ooh, that's PVE, man. That took an hour. Deity's so amazing. You put almost the entire roster for PVE usage in the tier list. Entire roster for PVE usage in the tier list. I don't get it. Is PVE tier list necessary at this point in the game? People like watching it. There are a lot of people like watching, especially new players getting in the game to see if their main focus is PVE. People just like seeing tier lists, especially getting into the game to see if the characters they got are good. So I like doing a PVE specialized tier list and a PvP one. And that's what I did last year, and that's what we're going to do this year. So, but yeah, so here is the overall list. Only 1 hour. What else are you going to do in E7 with no content at the moment? True, but this is a YouTube video. That's the problem. I'm not editing it. So here and I don't know how I'd edit it. This way people can at least like hear talking about certain characters. So here we go. The gods of PvE, in my opinion, are going to be Brieg, Tamarin, Afternoon Soak Flan. I have moved Asaria down from last year because as we keep going, she is becoming less and less useful because of Brieg. So Asaria is the only like big change moving down. But these 3, and obviously Asflan moving up over Spectre Tenebria, I think that these 3 characters are insane for almost everything. Spectre Tenebria almost deserves this point because of her poisons. Let me know if you think she deserves to be a god of PvE. I feel like the poison makes her more value than Afternoon Soak Flan for Abyss at least, but for almost everything else, Asflan will be better. Okay, now we have these characters. They're mostly dual attacking characters or survivability characters. Okay, Arby's at the bottom of this list, but BBK, Lone Crescent Bologna are both really good survivability, high damage characters. Lone Crescent Bologna is at the top. Then you have Conqueror, Lucy, Phantom Palitus, and Young Sinia, all dual attacking characters that provide a lot of other stuff on top of their dual attacks. Then we have our general use characters. These are all characters that you can use in a lot of different spots. Some of them do the same things as each other. So Laya, Archdemon, they're going to do a similar thing to each other. Archdemon doesn't belong as high on here, but Archdemon has a dual attack now, which is really valuable, whereas Laya also has a dual attack. The difference is Archdemon's dual attack will always pull your highest attack character, meaning that it is going to have a little bit higher value for the dual attack part, but Laya has a cleanse. So that's the difference between the two. Archdemon also has decent debuffs once she gets to her skill 3, which can be pretty decent for PvE. Okay, now all these other characters, they provide either dual attacks, defense break, just general good damage, general survivability, something along those lines. All these characters fill that rule, but a lot of them are dual attacking characters. Next up, we have our specializers in certain units. These are all characters that are really good, but only really good in a few spots. Okay, these are not characters you'll use in that many types of content. You'll use them once or twice per month, depending on what you're doing them in. Most of them Abyss characters, or either once or twice per month, or for whatever like hunt, if they're only good in one hunt. So Cigarette, that's going to be her main use case, and she has a couple use cases past that. And that is this tier. These characters all good in different areas. You will find their places. You can find it in the game where they're used based off their reviews. but this is the list. That's quite a bit of characters. So we'll scroll down so you guys can check out this tier. And then we're going to go down into these characters are not great. These are a lot of these characters are units that people really like. They're like Judge Kisei, for example, and a lot of people like these characters' designs. And if you really want to use them, you probably can. Okay, they have a good enough kit. If you really wanted to find a way to make it work, I have faith in you. You can. Once you get more experience in the game, these characters could all have some kind of spot. Lastly, though, we have the please do not bother. These characters, even if you do like them, they are generally all designed for PvP, or they're designed to exist as Xeno. I don't know what his use case is, but these are mostly just PvP characters. It's very hard to utilize them in PvE. Guild Wars, a couple of them are super good in Guild Wars, but I don't think you should try to utilize any of these characters in PvE. So one more time, I'll just scroll down the list so you guys can see. I did put the names by the characters and the grade of them so you can find them. But if you watched along as I was talking, then you can kind of hear me explain what I thought or what chat thought was their use case or where all they could be used. So you can read the chat on the screen or listen to what I had to say about it. And this is just my take, okay? Everyone's going to have a little bit different opinion going through Epic 7 as to what characters are good. Some people will think some of the characters I put high on the tier list deserve a little bit lower, but they're all going to be pretty close, okay? The difference of having one character in one tier versus having them one lower is not a big deal, okay? That's not a game changer. That just means the character is still within that range of being pretty good or pretty bad. Okay, but there is the list. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry it's a long video, but these are just fun for me to do and talk through with everyone. You obviously can always just skip to the end of the video and see the list here. In terms of getting the list in some kind of format, I don't know where to put this list. I can't put it in Discord because the Discord link expires every 24 hours. I don't know how to get you guys a list. If I can figure it out to where you could see this picture, I will do so. Otherwise, I don't know how to get a consistent permanent picture up anywhere. The Discord's the only place I know that you can always access it because it's a big list. Imgur, where I might make a link. If I can figure that out, I will have the link to this in the description as long as it stays up forever. So I might have to use that. That sounds better in Discord. But thank you guys for watching. It's been Mitch or Deity, and I will see you all in the next PvP tier list.